Hi, everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records here in Midland, Michigan. Merry Christmas and a happy holidays to each and every one of you. Thank you for being a part of our little channel here on the corner of the YouTube universe. Well, it is time once again for our weekly check into the list of new releases headed to an independent record store near you, and this will be our last one of 2022. This release date just so happens to hit right before the new year on Friday, December 30th. Not a very big list at all. This is such a small release week. It only filled up a few pages on my distributor. So we'll go through some of the highlights of these. If you'd like to look at the full list, though, and see stuff coming up in 2023, please head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. From there, you can search not only the stuff that's available, but for all of the new releases, as we mentioned, upcoming in the near and not so near future. But onwards to wrap up 2022, and let's do this in style with a couple of new releases, not many, but a couple of them, and some very, very interesting ones coming up here. Hang on tight because the descriptions, I don't know what they're doing. They're using too much eggnog or something, but the descriptions go way out and above this time around. But let's start off with something brand new from Collective Soul. This one is called Vibrating, and our description says this is coming on a limited edition blue-colored vinyl pressing. So it's Collective Soul's long-awaited 2022 album release. The description says Vibrating sends the band's artistic spirit into the next stratosphere. All 10 songs that comprise Vibrating positively pulsate with boundless energy that has been Collective Soul's oral calling card going on now for nearly 3 decades. So this is a big one. And again, I think they're embellishing a little bit with that, but still it's going to be cool music. So Vibrating, brand new stuff from Collective Soul on blue vinyl, listing for about $29. Now this next one, good luck finding any information on this other than what I'm about to give you, because this band, according to Discogs, does not exist yet. It's a brand new one, and I think that these artists have come together specifically for this release. I found each of the individual artists on Discogs, but no mention of a band called Fantastic Cat. So their debut album, as they come together, is called The Very Best of Fantastic Cat. And, well, let's see what the description says. So these 4 singer-songwriters have teamed up to record a highly unanticipated debut album, The Very Best of Fantastic Cat. Captured in the wilds of the Pocono Mountains, the album gleefully careens between genres and decades, mixing electrified 60s folk and 70s AM radio gold with 80s heartland rock and 90s alt country. The result is a record that balances careful craftsmanship and ecstatic abandon in equal measure, captured live in the moment and fueled by the chemistry of 4 longtime friends making music for the sheer joy of it. Again, another description that I think goes above and beyond. Now, as for the 4 artists that make up Fantastic Cat, well, again, folks I've never heard of, but we've got them listed as Don DeLeggio, Anthony D'Amato, Brian Dunn, and Mike Montelli. So if you can find some info on this, or maybe find these 4 playing together as Fantastic Cat, check them out. Otherwise, it's kind of a cool looking album, and it should be fairly interesting. So The Very Best of Fantastic Cat will list for about $30. And then just to make things even a little more interesting, here's one from a group called Electric Beethoven, and the album is called Hear No Evil. Our description says that Electric Beethoven is a 4-piece band, a groove-based improv band, actually they call it a game, that uses the framework of Beethoven's iconic songwriting as the playing field. It says the group of musicians embark on the musical ropes through a series of vamps, essentially looping sections to stretch out and improvise, and ramps, utilizing a series of chords to move from one section to another. If the resulting music is funky and all of the moves have genuinely surprised one another, then they have won that game. So Hear No Evil finds the band recording 6 Beethoven games, i.e. songs, live in one room together directly to tape. So as interesting as this sounds, Hear No Evil, you see what they did there, by the way, by Electric Beethoven will list for about $50. Oh, and by the way, that is a double LP. On the reissue front for Friday, December 30th, we've got one from Nectar. This is Time Machine coming on magenta-colored vinyl. This album coming from Purple Pyramid and Cleopatra Records. It's a limited edition pressing, and this is the 13th studio album from the prog rock legends Nectar. This one was originally released in 2013. So Time Machine by Nectar on colored vinyl will list for about $28. And the good boys of rock are back. This is Angel with Risen. This one coming on double LP white vinyl. So our description says the glam metal sensations and one-time label mates of Kiss adorn themselves in white and proudly present this heavenly album, originally though released in 2019. So some of the founding members roll back the clock to the glory days of their melodic metal with 16 original compositions and one fantastic reworking of the band's classic song, Tower. So Angel, Risen on double LP white vinyl lists for about $32. And here is another interesting group. This is All Boro Kings, the album by Dog Eat Dog. Our description says that more than 25 years ago, Dog Eat Dog, a band from New Jersey, succeeded in setting a milestone in then the still young crossover genre with their debut album, All Boro Kings. Now, what exactly is that crossover genre, you ask? Well, according to Discogs, it's funk, metal, hardcore. So that could be very, very interesting. So All Boro Kings by Dog Eat Dog, listing for about $26, and this is coming on sunny yellow transparent color vinyl. And we're wrapping things up on this brief list with a trio of soundtracks. These were delayed from a week or so ago, but now are scheduled for the 30th. First up, we have the Godfather Trilogy 1, 2, and 3, and this is being performed by the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. Now, this issue is coming from Light in the Attic Records, and it is a double LP. Double splatter LP, actually, according to our description, because, of course, what else would it be? So for this Godfather Trilogy 1, 2, and 3, the list price is making you an offer you can't really refuse, coming in at about $44. So check that one out if you are a fan of the Godfather trilogy and the music of that great set of movies. Here's one from a movie called The Lady in White, the original soundtrack. Our description says, Scare Flare Records is proud to present the complete and expanded Lady in White original motion picture score by Frank LaLoggia for the first time on vinyl. LaLoggia has personally curated and arranged this haunting score into 4 moving suites for this release, which finally ties together all of the music used in the various versions of the films, including the director's cut. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this movie, this is probably one of the scariest movies of the 80s that I can think of. It's on par with Poltergeist, but not so much for the shock value, but just an overall general creepiness of a film. By today's standards, not much, I would guess. But back then, this was a really, really cool film. So the Lady in White original soundtrack is going to list for about $56. And finally, on the list for soundtracks, not sure what to think of this one. This is the Animal Crossing original soundtrack brought to us by Totakiki Music. Now, I can't find very much information on this aside from our description, which says that this is the Nintendo Switch Animal Crossing, but I think that has a lot of the same music from the original Wii version. And from what I can tell, it is essentially the music of KK Slider from that video game. So take with that what you will, but this release is coming in very heavy, listing for about $90. And that is it for a look at the highlights of the new releases for Friday, December 30th, 2022. We told you it was a brief list. Not a whole lot going on this time of year, but if we look ahead to 2023, as always, there's going to be lots and lots of great stuff coming up. But one of the things that we want to tease for the month of January is the annual Rhino Start Your Ear Off Right campaign. Each week throughout the month of January, Rhino will reissue some great music. And let's take a look at what they've got on tap coming up. So for the first week of January in the Start Your Ear Off Right, we can look forward to releases from Billy Cobham, John Coltrane, Genesis is in here, the Ramones. It's really kind of a unique mix. Otis Redding, Johnny Thunders, Dire Straits, and the Velvet Underground. And then as we go through the rest of the month, we can look forward to stuff from Jerry Rafferty, Yes, Warren Zevon, ZZ Top, as well as Bob Weir, Chicago, Hot Tuna, the B-52s, Curtis Mayfield, couple from him, and The Cure. So that is quite the eclectic mix of stuff from Rhino coming throughout the month of January. And as is usually the case with the Rhino reissues, there's some sort of color variant for each of these. So stay tuned throughout the month of January. We'll cover all of these as we get closer and give you further details on each of them. In the meantime, though, if you see something you'd like, please contact us here at the store. The hours are a little bit irregular with the holiday season, but we will get to your messages eventually. We'll put in our orders. This time of year, it's also a little sketchy, so it may be January before we get some of the stuff that you're looking for. But if you want it, we'll try our best. If you're local, again, contact us. We'll put in a pre-order here, or you can hit our website up at radiowastelandrecords.com and place your orders through there for either a shipping or pickup here in the store. So until next year, you see what I did there with an RSD dad joke, RSDJ, how we did there. We will talk to you next time from Radio Wasteland Records. And thank you all very, very much for subscribing to our channel and taking part in our little family here at Radio Wasteland Records. Truly, truly appreciated. You folks have a great, great new year, and we'll talk to you next time from Radio Wasteland Records. Thank you.